At, good day and welcome to, should I say, the last program of the day on Plus Sports Special. It's definitely going to be a wonderful moment on the show. I still remain Mudashiru Shitu from January still this moment in December as the world counts down to the new year. And that's why we will be bringing something much futuristic in today's program as you look also several reports we have on Nigerian sport and the sport international. Not forgetting 6 disappointing moments in Nigerian sport. These are what we have for you on the review. While I go straight to Miami, where a Professor Abdullahi, Sadiq Abdullahi, is waiting for us in Miami to tell us what the future of Nigerian sport will be in 2023. Good morning, Mr. Sadiq.
Good morning, and thank you for having me again.
That's before we start on the more light-time mood. How is Miami with the preparation for the new year?
Oh, right. All of us are getting ready. Usually this time of the year, we go to the beach to see all the fireworks, and the celebration starts now. And usually this is when we start looking for the new year.
Okay, now let's take a bit personal. What's your plan as we time ticks to the new year? You going out with the family or spending time in a particular place?
Yeah. We clean up the house after Christmas celebration. Families that came from all over the world, particularly from Jamaica, visiting, and we're spending some time. So go to the backyard. We should have take you around my backyard and see how the setting is next time, and then we just reflect on the year and hopefully pray for the coming year.
Okay, and I know your profile as a very, very important person. You've given us write-ups on the development of sport in the country. You've worked with several sport ministers on how to develop Nigerian sport. As a former tennis player and a owner of tennis clubs and several things, your write-ups are everywhere global, and just also a professor where you are right now in Miami. There's no better person that can tell us what Nigeria needs to do to develop our sport in 2023. So let's start with that. I'm sure there's so much I to dots, there's so much T to cross, and there's so many things to do in regards to ensure that Nigerian sports gets to where it is. So 2023, with all the documents you have available to you and the write-ups and the books you've written, tell us what Nigeria needs to do for the future of Nigerian sport in 2023.
A very, very good question. Very deep question. Let me give you context, right? Yes, I've been involved in trying to reform sports in Nigeria for the last 30 years. Remember, I went to the Olympics 1988, and in 1990, I went back to school to get my doctorate degree. So I spent about 10 years, learning how to the theory, the practice of education, and then of course sports. I am an adjunct professor at Florida International University, teaching curriculum studies and then global education. And then of course I am also a veteran social science teacher at the Miami-Dade Public School District, where I work with the youth. I've been working with the youth for 25 years or more, and I have also been combining sports and education, and that informed my publications in global education, sports, and of course all the social sciences.
So now, with all this, the future of Nigeria, tell us what we need to do to ensure a better future for Nigerian sport in 2023.
I am very optimistic. As you mentioned earlier, I worked with Indanusa starting in 2008. Then after that, Sadiq Abdullahi, very directly or indirectly, a little bit with Dana Gogo, and then of course Dalong. I interacted with him a lot, and I'm having the best of time with Chief Sunday Dari now, because the way Minister Dari approaches the sports development, improvement, and sustainability in Nigeria is unprecedented. And because of that, we connect at that intellectual level, and we've been able to work together. I was invited to be part of the national sports industry policy. I was one of the drafters of that policy, and that policy will be the framework or the poles or the guidelines. I mean, that will provide direction, for 2023 and beyond, and for any kind of development discussion as far as sports is concerned. We need, to now go back and try to filter the 2022, 2026 national sports industry policy. That is the beginning point. And if we go back again to the history of Nigerian sports from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and up to now, you can see, that we have been struggling. But finally, we have a document now, that all of us will now gravitate towards and try to, begin the process of turning sports around from that document. It's going to be a collective effort. It's going to be inclusive, and then it's going to require a lot of new people, new voices into the conversation.
Okay. Now, well said. And we've seen several policies, but we know that if there's anything that is always holding the Nigerian sport policy is the lack of implementation. Why oftentimes do we have the will to do after a proper documentation, a proper publication, lack of implementation of some of this policy, like we know this year the sport minister, Sunday Dare, submitted a 10-year sport development for the president, Muhammadu Buhari. But lack of implementation seems to be injuring us from this.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's the same whole thing. It's a Nigerian problem, right? So my involvement, and that is why I am in my own publication that I'm working on as a result of the policy work, is that we are going from the national sport policy to action. So the action part is where I have been having a conversation with our minister, Honorable Minister Sunday Dare, right, on the implementation, because Nigerian people are really tired of, they tell me committees, the same thing over, and these reports are in the shelf and nothing is being done. So I'm having a conversation with, Minister Dare on this, and how do we really approach this. So it is ongoing right now, and because there's the dynamics in the country now with the election coming up, so it offers an opportunity to make sure, that yes, we started well. And I'm also, looking, that yes, if we have a president who has passion for sports and passion for education, and can begin, to put that in, looking at the social fabric of society, and then using sports, using the power of sports, to not only unite, provide peace, but provide jobs, for the youth. So that conversation is where I am now, okay, with Honorable Minister Sunday Dare.
Before I ask you the next question, we quickly, you hold on with us, we quickly go for a report that has to do with the review of Nigerian sport in 2022. That's to show the best of Nigerian sport in the year 2022 as it ends today. We still have the professor still with us, but let's check this wonderful report and have a very moment of nostalgia feelings for 2022. Professor Sadiq Abdullahi.
Yeah.
Are you still there with us?
I'm here.
Yeah, okay, fine. We expected to show that review of 2022 in Nigerian sports, and we will call that for that later. But let's not take a comparison approach to where you are right now and where you spent your time when in terms of sport, and what is achievable in Nigeria here. I'm sure you've seen a lot of sporting activities. If you're going to use those what you have in your environment where you live right now, what do you think they've done right so that Nigeria can get a clue on that?
Oh, very good question. Again, let's go back to the history of Nigeria. I remember in 1999 when we now decided to go into the democracy route, right? We're parting our everything that we do after the United States of America. So that's a good starting point. America, right? Sports, although it's not government, an area where government gets involved with directly. America gets involved at the federal level and the state level and the local level through shared responsibility format, right? At the federal level, they will have what is called Title 1 and then Title 9, that allowed government funding to go into universities and go into schools that are struggling, because historically some groups have been left behind. Okay, so that's that. At the state level, we will see a lot of construction by the state government facilities at schools, and then this is through the school districts, that we have over here, and that is ongoing. And then at the local level, the district level, that is where we also generate a lot of funding through the property tax and all of that go into funding sports and education. And then we have that's the government, and then the private sector, where a lot of the activities are done at the grassroots level. Is where the program starts at 5 years old, and then move on from there. Again, the difference is the GDP here in America compared to America, the standard of living, the middle class that sustain the activities of sports in this country is not as it is in Nigeria. So we have to improve our economic profile in order for, right, I'm talking about economic growth and all of that stuff, which is part of this school, the National Sports Industry Policy, which is going towards commercialization. So it is the first step, right? If we can get that, that settled. And that is why I'm so impressed and happy, that, again, Honorable Mr. Dare, had that vision, to say, what, at least I'm going to leave a policy. And then it's now up to us, to make sure the implementation is not one-sided. The implementation has to go to the drivers. And the drivers of development, of sports development in Nigeria, again, starts from the national sports federations. The National Sport Federation will now filter down, to the state associations, and then the state association now go to the local councils, and then the sports councils and the schools, right? And so it has to go like that gradually. We've been talking about this for a long time in Nigeria. It is not that we don't know what to do. Okay, we know what to do in Nigeria. It is just that the will, again, there's a political interference right from the beginning. We know that, right? So my conversation with Chief Sunday Dare is that, look, how can we now minimize the effect of political intervention or interference, whatever it is, so that the government continue to stay to its own ideals of trying to, help sports, right, on one hand. And then the private sector, what is government doing to help, right? Everything is in the book, is in the policy. All we need to do is to now extract, right? It's voluminous, right? Just take a little bit and then work on it. Implementation is going to take about, for me, it takes me 10 years. I'm in education for a long time. I know to bring a kid up, right? It's a process, developmental. Look at it. When you went to school, you went to primary, you went to kindergarten, I hope, and then you went to primary school, then you go to secondary school, then you go to university, then you can either go vocational or you can go to the academic track. It is the same thing in America, and that is the way with it. I think leadership, the leadership we're getting right now, if we can enhance it, find good people that are committed, people that know that, look, the beneficiary of our work is going to be the youth, then we are, in the right track. If we put the country interest first, then we'll be able to really address this problem. And it's a win-win situation for everybody.
We still have Professor Sadiq Abdullahi still with us in the studio all the way from Miami. Hello, sir. The 6 questions we've been going on, and that's talking about should government be involved in funding of sports, because we know most often time in other countries, like where you are based, we have government not involving themselves fully, or the level of involvement is not 100%. Don't you think that the involvement of government in Nigerian sports is one of the reasons why it hasn't developed? Or what prototype can we have to ensure that government can get involved, but we can still get the development?
Yes, absolutely. I'm proposing either a 60-40 formula where we have 40% government involvement and 60%. If you can go higher than that, that's fine. But the nature of sports in Nigeria and in Africa, it is government driven. We're not there yet where the middle class, takes over. So we still need government funding. We have to come up with some kind of mechanism for that to work. So government should continue to build infrastructures. Let them invest heavily on infrastructures at the schools level, and this can be done. We're talking about devolution of power and all of that. It will come, into that when we get to that point. Okay, so that is number one. Number two is that the private sector must also, the businesses must also begin to invest in sports, because they will ultimately benefit from it. And then, of course, you are familiar with the corporate social responsibility stuff, that as an incentive. 3, in the sports policy, there are discussion on incentives. Those will need to be taken care of. It is not going to be just on paper. It has to be the action that we're talking about. Implementation, it requires, that people are motivated, people are excited, about whatever they put in, they get something back. So again, that is part of the 40% ratio that, I'm proposing, to the government, to do that. You mentioned earlier, that the 10-year football framework, right? That is, again, government. Remember, just last week or a few days ago, Honorable Benga Egbeleye, he issued out an abridged schedule for the For the professional. Okay, so there's also a conversation that will link that, to improving the local leagues and then going back to the schools, right? So it's an holistic approach, and we're having this conversation. The good thing is that yes, some of us now are, because of the honorable minister, open up the conversation and are bringing new voices into the conversation, so that now we can now honestly decide for us how we're going to move forward. It is going to be a collective effort with good leadership. I'm still going back to the reformation. You're going to give that loan credit, for starting to reform the National Sports Federation. It started it, but it didn't. It wasn't well thought out, and that's why that picked up on that, and then we're there. So we are going to focus on making National Sports Federation functional. They have the code of conduct for effective leadership and good governance in there. So if we can get that, remember now, we cannot rely on government in our setting. It has to be the community building community. We have to go back to the areas, and then we have to. You mentioned comparative analysis. It is the the local development. So the athletes must come. Look at Amuson's case. I mean, the school that she went to, and then again, she's giving back to her school. She donated over 1 million, naira. That is the formula that we need to now get to everybody. Like myself, my former school, St. Paul's College and Kufena College Zaria, right? I am getting involved there now. So we're going to use those models to go back to the schools, but not through government. Okay. Government must provide all of the other stuff, but we now must come together and improve your own school, your own community, and let's see whether we can develop a champion from the community so that champion can come back to that community and continue doing that. It can be done, right? We have the resources, we have the money, we have the capacity, and Nigerians are good people. We are good people. We really care. Again, with this question of leadership, and that's why I'm also saying that whoever our next president is going to be in 2023, I hope that he loves sports and he loves education.
Yeah, now let me ask you before we go on the review of international sports, report on the review of Nigerian international sports in 2022. What's your own highlight of sport globally this year?
Well, we love American football here, right? I mean, the World Cup just ended. When the World Cup is on, everything is secondary, right? Now that the World Cup has ended, the Nigerian football is coming to the end of it. It's a big deal. If not
the NFL, sports
in the NFL, yes, is number one, right? And it's coming to an end now. We are in our 17th week. Right, the Super Bowl comes in maybe in February, right? Then immediately after that, the NBA, the basketball, big deal, is getting into. In February, we're going to have when all the superstars come together, right? In February, and they take a break, right? And then after that, we go into the playoffs around April, May, and then June. We end up with the basketball season, and then we have baseball. Then we have hockey. We have all of those sports that are doing very well on television. So you can see that we in America we know that sports is part of it, not only professionally, recreationally as well. And a lot of people stay fit. The more people now are getting out to exercise, and that's one thing we need to try to get Nigerians, to see the benefit of not only their children may aspire, to go to university like a lot of us did. We came on scholarship, and then the most talented can now move on, to the professional rank. We have to have that model where everybody benefits from it, right from your home. The family is engaged in exercising, right? I mean, look at what is happening with heart attack and people just dying, they're not
Okay.
exercising. So there's a lot that we can do, that we will do, for Nigeria. I'm excited at this time,
Okay.
that all the pieces are coming together. Again, we need good people, we need good leadership, and then we need, to bring people along. The days where one section is controlling everything is going to be something of the past.
Okay, and as we go on this quick break for a report, I'll be coming back with a question for you, but still on you. But let me give you a tip of what to expect. You are a former tennis player, so you'll be coming back to tell the world how being a global tennis player for Nigeria was in your years and why that sport is not retaining the status we all know it's what it should be, comparing to what is happening right now. So we'll go on this quick, just hold on with us. We have the 2022 review of international sport, that's sport globally. We did a report on what really happened this year in international sport. Enjoy this.